Hey everyone and welcome! Today we're going to tear down one of the trickiest looking topics in algebra, absolute value equations and inequalities. And yeah, I get it. You see those two vertical bars hugging a bunch of numbers and letters, and it just looks complicated. But trust me, you're about to see just how simple it really is.
In fact, what if I told you that the entire strategy, every single rule you need to solve these things, boils down to just one single simple word? One concept that, once you get it, makes everything else just click.
All right, so here it is, the big secret. The magic word that unlocks all of this is distance. That's it. That's the whole game. It's all about distance.
And this number line shows you exactly what I mean. When you see the absolute value of a number, all it's asking is, hey, how far is that number from 0? So you look at the number 3. Well, it's 3 steps away from 0. Easy. But now look at -3. How far is it from 0? It's also 3 steps away. And that's the key. Distance is always positive. You can't walk -3 steps.
So let's really nail this down. This is the one rule you have to burn into your brain. Absolute value is distance from 0. And because distance can't be negative, the answer to an absolute value problem can never be a negative number. It's always going to be positive or 0. That single fact is the foundation for everything we're about to do.
Okay, so we've got our foundation. It's all about distance. Now let's use that idea to actually solve some equations. It turns out, when you set up one of these problems, there are really only 3 ways it can go.
And here are those 3 paths. Path 1. What if I told you the distance is equal to a negative number, like -5? Well, that's impossible, right? So no solution. Path 2. What if the distance is 0? There's only one number that's 0 distance from itself, and that's 0. So you get one solution. And path 3, the most common one. What if the distance is a positive number, like 3? Well, we just saw that 2 numbers are 3 units from 0, +3 and -3. That gives us 2 solutions.
So to handle any equation that comes your way, we've got a super reliable 4-step game plan. Number 1, and this is the most important one, isolate. You have to get the absolute value part all by itself on one side of the equal sign. Then, step 2, split it into those 2 possible paths we just talked about. Step 3, solve each of those nice, simple new equations. And finally, step 4, it never hurts to check your answers.
Let's try it out. Now looking at this, your first instinct might be to split it. But wait, remember step 1? Isolate. That -8 is outside the bars, so we have to get rid of it first. Add 8 to both sides. Now we have the absolute value all alone, and it equals 10. Now we can do our split. One equation equals +10, the other equals -10. Here's another one that really hammers that point home. We've got stuff happening all around our absolute value, so we've got to peel those layers back. First, subtract the 4 from both sides. Then divide by the 2. Only when that absolute value expression is completely, totally by itself, only then are we ready to split it into our 2 cases and find the solutions. All right, you've got equations down, you're a pro. Ready to level up? Let's talk inequalities. Now this is where people can sometimes get tripped up, but I've got a super simple way to remember the rules. All you have to ask yourself is one question. Are we making a sandwich or are we splitting up?
And here's the trick. If you see a less than sign, I want you to think less than. Hear that and in there? That's your clue that the answer is a single connected piece, an intersection, all sandwiched together. But if you see a greater than sign, think great or. That or tells you the answer is a union. It splits into 2 separate pieces that go in opposite directions. So let's look at the less than and sandwich. When the absolute value, the distance, has to be less than some number, it means all our answers have to be close to 0. They're stuck in the middle. So the solution looks like this single bar, literally sandwiched between the negative and positive value of that number.
And for the greater or word rule, it's the exact opposite. When the distance has to be greater than some number, we're looking for all the values that are far away from 0. They can't be in the middle, so they split apart and head outwards, one going way to the right and the other way to the left.
Okay, let's put the sandwich rule to work. We see the expression is less than 18. Ding, 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 that's our cue. We immediately set up a sandwich, putting the 2x plus 6 right in the middle, between -18 and +18, and from there, it's just a regular 3-part inequality. We just saw for x in the middle to find our answer.
And here we have a great OR problem. So what's the very first step we always take? You got it, isolate. We have to get rid of that 4 out front by dividing both sides. Now we have the absolute value greater than 3. Okay, now we apply our split rule. We write our two separate inequalities. One is less than -3, or the other is greater than 3, and we just solve each one on its own.
Okay, now hold on a second. Before we get too robotic just following these rules, I want you to pause and just use your brain for a minute. Think about what we said at the very beginning. Can a distance ever be less than a negative number?
And the answer, of course, is no way. This is a classic trick question. You do the first step, you isolate the absolute value, and you get that it's less than or equal to -2. But we know absolute value is distance, and distance can't be negative. So how could it possibly be smaller than -2? It can't. This is an impossible statement, so the answer is just no solution. Always be on the lookout for this.
We've covered a ton of ground here, right? We started with a simple idea, distance, and built it all the way up to solving equations and tricky inequalities. So now, let's put it all together. This is your complete codebook, your final guide to cracking any absolute value problem.
And here it is, the whole strategy on one screen. For equations, you split it in two. Unless it equals a negative, then it's no solution. For less than, remember less than, you make a sandwich, and your answer is the stuff in between. For greater than, remember great or. You split it apart, and your answer is on the outside edges. This right here is your ultimate cheat sheet.
So that's it. You've officially cracked the code. The next time you see those intimidating vertical bars in a problem, I want you to smile. Because you know the secret. You know that no matter how messy it looks, the key to unlocking the whole thing was, and always will be, that one simple word, distance.